Hey cuties, I am Lanickia and this is your soap and entertainment news. So let's just jump right into this. Today is Tuesday, May the 9th, 2023. And so far I've watched all the soaps today, but I don't want to spoil them because I know some people watch them later. And going forward, this will actually drop in the morning times, but because I haven't done it the last 2 mornings because I've had other things to do, I wanted to go ahead and do that this evening, and then the rest of the videos will always drop Monday through Friday in the morning around 10 a.m. All right, guys, let's get into the first hot topic, which is Camilla Bannis is leaving Days of Our Lives. As you saw, this probably was trending last week. Now, the reason for her departure is that she wanted more of a flexible schedule. And because they were not able to offer her this, she went ahead and they couldn't negotiate. They couldn't renegotiate her contract because her main sticking point was that she wanted to be able to do other things. And y'all know since they went over to Peacock, they really haven't been wanting to do that with their people. Like we used to see that you could come in and come out with the soap, but now they're not really wanting to do that so much. And she just had too many. She was just said it was too many lines. It's too much that she had to do. So because of that, she didn't want to stay on. She decided to go ahead and call it quits. Now, this is interesting because our character Gabby has actually just reunited with Stefan, which is, a big deal. So we'll see how this all plays out because as of right now, they haven't said anything about replacing her or even if they would have someone else um um excuse me, they haven't said anything about replacing her or even if they would just like get rid of the character. So we don't know what's actually going to happen, but she filmed months in advance. Her last film date was actually April the 28th. But she filmed months in advance. So she'll be on the show for the next few months, although she's technically no longer with Days of Our Lives. But all you could do is just wish her the best with that and see what happens and how it goes as far as that goes. The next hot topic is actually was trending as well. Christina on General Hospital, played by Lexi Ainsworth, is actually leaving the show. She's already filmed her last scene. The last time we'll see her air was the April 27th scene. And you know, and hers was, even though she wanted to stay on, she just felt like it was more of a personal journey. So she and General Hospital decided mutually to end their partnership. The storyline that's coming up, she said she had a part in it because it was based off her something that happened to her in real life. But that she was going to write about it instead of just being on the show. So that's where she's going with that. So she will no longer be on the show, which I did like her as Christina. So I'm sad to see her go. But there is a new young lady that will be playing her, and you probably recognize her from playing Abigail on Days of Our Lives. Her name is Kate Mancy, and she will actually start portraying the role of Christina on May the 22nd, 2023. She'll actually take over this role. And it should be exciting to see where the Christina character goes, especially because we've seen her um not she's been in and out of the show, so now it should be exciting to see her actually a permanent fixture on the show. So looking forward to seeing that. And then we have the next topic, which did I skip him? If you have been watching Days a lot yesterday, you'll see that Peter Porter actually joined the show as Dimitri. He will be we know him from Beyond Salem, right? So he portrayed Dimitri on Beyond Salem, but he was supposed to be this other guy named Kyle, but it actually ended up being his twin. And he and Billy Reed, he had her falling for him, but he was a con artist. But now he's taking Kate captive on the boat. But anyways, I'm not sure how long he's supposed to be on the show, but they've added him in as the role on Salem instead of just being on Beyond Salem. So we'll see how this goes. And y'all can tell me if y'all excited about that Kate storyline still with him. All right. Moving on to the next hot topic, y'all, because we're not just going to stay in the news, excuse me, in the soaps, but entertainment as well. And the first one was really huge, which was Brian McKnight. So it starts off with just he put up a story. This was back in January. I'm not sure why this started trending again, but you know how when you put something up, some people will come back to it later on and make it a big deal. And that's exactly what happened to him. He put a story up about his family. Um he just got married, not recently, but like in 2017, 2018. He was married. He married a young lady. They actually had a miscarriage, and then they had another child in January. So he wrote this really beautiful passage to his child, saying, "You are my true heir." He named him after himself, Brian. Um, and everything he so it was like, okay. the, but if you didn't know, because most people didn't know, they didn't realize, at least I didn't know he had a child already named after him. And so that's where the controversy comes, because he tells this child, that he has with his current wife, "You're my heir, you're gonna take everything that I've worked hard for, you're going to inherit, you're named after me." But he actually has a son already from his first marriage, where he named the son Brian McKnight. So people were all up in arms, because they were like, "Wait, you already have a son, so how can this be your next son?" So I don't know what exactly he was thinking, kind of going on social media, but they started, going after him. And then we saw that he's actually estranged from his children. So his current family, the family, excuse me, his previous family that he had with his first wife, he doesn't really talk to his children. And he actually had a daughter with his outside of his marriage to his first wife. And so that's another thing, because his current wife had children already, but he says, like, "This is my child, you made me a girl dad, but you already were a girl dad." So it's a big controversy. He actually was sued by his current daughter. He was actually sued by his current daughter, because he said that she was having an inappropriate relationship with her cousin. So she sued him for defamation of character. And it was just a huge thing about him just kind of throwing away his first family. But I don't know. I hope they, and then he tried to cover it up by saying, "Look, me and my family are doing good." He posted pictures, but unfortunately for him, the pictures were like 300 weeks old. Like, they were really old pictures, like from old posts that he had. So you could do the math on how many years that actually is with 300 weeks. But yeah. So I don't know. He's taken a hit with his career because of the whole controversy, but y'all tell me what you think. The next hot topic is Anna Nicole Smith. Her daughter actually lives in Kentucky with her dad. Y'all remember Anna Nicole married the older gentleman, and then she tragically died of an overdose a few months after her son. Well, her daughter is all grown up, and she went to the Kentucky Derby because that's where she lives. She's her dad's raising her, and she actually wore a dress, and it had her mother's pictures all over it, like Anna Nicole's pictures all over it. I was a huge fan of Anna Nicole, especially like her TV show. I thought she was really funny. She married that older man. It is what it is, but I thought she was really funny. And so, I was, it's tragic that she passed when her daughter was months old. But this is her daughter now. She looks to me, she looks like her dad, but everyone says she looks like, Anna Nicole. But I don't know. But it was really sweet that she wore, the dress to the Kentucky Derby this past weekend with pictures of her all over. And so another huge story that was going on was the topic of Ebony Williams, who, for those who don't know who she is a prominent attorney. She was a commentator on Fox News. She works on the Gyro right now. Um, she works on the gyro right now, and so she's really she's very intelligent. She's a beautiful woman. And so she was asked, she was doing an interview with Iyanla, and she was just telling her, "I can't find a man that meets my standards. Now, Ebony Kelly Williams, for those who don't know, she is worth 3 million. Like she's 40 years old, she's single, she's worth 3 million, and she's looking for someone who meets her standards. And so Iyanla asked her, "Would you date a bus driver?" And then that's where this whole controversy came from, because she was like, "I would date a owner, the owner of the bus, the bus line, but not actually the bus driver." And so people got really upset with her about that, because they felt like she was looking down on the working class, blue collar person. And I don't know, I don't really see it that way. I think everyone has their standards of, who they will or won't date. And I don't expect, like, the same way I wouldn't expect for a man to marry a woman that maybe isn't in their tax bracket and everything. I don't I For me, I just didn't make sense on why she would ask her that. But Elon was like, "Oh, I would date a bus driver, and you're leaving out of pool of men when you don't do that." But I think what Ebony was saying, and what a lot of people say, is like, when you date someone who's not in your class, or has your standards, then sometimes it can cause them to feel um, emasculated towards you. And that's what one of her reasons. And she said that, she is a woman who went to college and has degrees. And, so maybe that wasn't for her to, she doesn't want to date a bus driver. She doesn't want to date a bus driver. She wants to date someone who has her wealth or higher. And I don't know, I just understood where she was coming from, but a lot of people were upset with her about that. But y'all can tell me what you think later on. And then there's this whole thing that's going on with actually Chris Brown. So it was Chris Brown's birthday this past weekend on Friday, right? And Usher actually threw him a party, because it was a lovers and friends thing in Vegas where all these people were coming out and they were having a good time. And so he threw him a party, but unfortunately, um, Usher invited a young lady named Tiana Taylor. So Tiana goes to the party, and Chris and Tiana are not getting along, because Chris wanted to perform at the American Music Awards, but um he wasn't able to perform at the American Music Awards. And they say it's because Tiana Taylor pulled out. But honestly, if you know Chris Brown's reputation, and it is a violent reputation. Like, he has a violent past, from incidents with Rihanna, incidents at Good Morning America, just different incidents that's happened. I think American Music Awards probably had a lot of backlash for wanting him to perform, because he was supposed to do a Michael Jackson tribute. Um, but so he feels like it's Tiana Taylor's fault that he didn't get to perform. Now, Usher threw this party. He's really close friends with Tiana, so he invited her, because at one time Chris and Tiana were good friends. So at we there's video footage of Chris confronting Tiana about why she there. And if you know her, then you know that she's not like one that you could just walk up on with an aggressive attitude. And she was ignoring him, like, because it was a lot of celebrities there, it was cameras there, it was a lot of people there, it was at a skate rink, so they just wanted to have a good time. But they say that Usher came over because he threw the party, so he was trying to calm everything down, right, and make he just wanted to have a good time and not have drama with it all, right? But Chris ended up going outside, and Usher was trying to still calm him down. And they say Usher ended up getting they say ended up getting beat up by Chris Brown and his crew. We don't know how true that is, because Usher did perform later on. The next day they had another performance, and he didn't look, because they said he had his nose, so they bloodied his nose or something, but he didn't look like he had been in any type of altercation. But they don't know. No one's saying anything. Neither camp is came out, and they're just keeping it on quiet. And I would just say to Usher, like, sometimes, because his name isn't really in this type of thing, so I would just tell him, leave Chris Brown alone. Like, these celebrities that still try to go up for Chris Brown when he is who he is. And all these celebrities, they try to still support him, because he says, I've been blackballed, I made a mistake, but he continues to be eh, around things that happen where you're always having to defend his actions. So until he can grow up and not be around this sort of violent behavior or even rumored to have that, I would say leave him where he is. But that's just me. I agree, David. I'm not a huge fan of his, and I've tried to be over the years, but it's just like there's always incidents with him, and it's just like leave him where he is. But let's see. That's all I have for you guys today. I will see you tomorrow for more soap and entertainment news. Thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your night. Goodbye.